Hello everyone. Today's video is going to be a beautiful, simple, beginner-friendly terracotta set. I start off with a slab of 0.6 centimeters in thickness and smoothen this using my fettling knife. Using a round cookie cutter, which is roughly approximately just over 2 inches in diameter, I cut out the shape. This is for the earring, rather for the studs. The slab thickness is 0.3 centimeters. I smoothen this as well using my fettling knife, and using a cookie cutter, which is just over half an inch in diameter, I cut out the shapes. I smoothen the edges with a little bit of oil, and obviously repeating this process with my fettling knife. This is a stamp that I had picked up long ago from India, and you can always go ahead and use any kind of a stamp or a wooden block of your choice. I line it with a little bit of oil and making sure I press it down firmly, giving a good impression on clay. I use my fettling knife and draw this kind of a pattern. If you are familiar with my work, this is a design which I totally adore. The process is almost meditative for me. I really enjoy working on this kind of a zigzag design. So for the stud as well, I'm using the stamp, pressing it on this way, basically positioning it and then pressing it gently, and then giving it a bit more of a firmer press so that the design comes clearly on the stud. I go back to my cookie cutter and recut the shape, because obviously once you press it down, there can be a slight deformity. And there you go. The ridges on the sides or the edges basically are created with a needle tool. I'm using a pair of 24 gauge Nichrome wire U-pins, and I let this set dry. Once the set is completely dried, it's fired in an electric kiln, and after it's fired, it can be painted. So if you see, I've laid out everything that is required. I am using 4 additional beads to basically 4 additional round beads to assemble this. I am using only this one particular size 6 round tip soft bristle brush, paints black, silver and antique gold, and I'm also going to be using this pair of bead. This was part of the 30 days 30 bead project. I'll leave the link in the description box of the video on how I made and how I painted this. I start off with a diluted coat of black all over the pendant, sides, back, everything, including the beads, the earrings, everything. If you see, all of it is painted black and completely dried. I'm mixing a little bit of black with gold and black and silver to get antique gold and antique silver respectively. I start off with dabbing a little bit of silver on the surface of the pendant. One thing, both the silver as well as the gold are undiluted. They have no water in it. And I go on to do this twice, basically 2 coats of dabbing. For the sides and the back, I am using a brush. Again, that also 2 coats, because that will end up giving me at least better a full coverage. Now once the silver is completely dry, I just go on with a little bit of antique gold, just in a few places. Somehow this makes it look a little bit more metal-like. These are for the beads. Once again, the same combination, gold, silver and black. I paint the 4 beads as well in the same color. hence the term silver tone. I'm using just one color all the way through, so yeah. Now that the paint has completely dried, it's time to varnish. This is the product I use. Give it a good shake, transfer a little bit of the contents into a bowl or a container, and using a soft bristle brush, I apply a generous coat all over. Everything gets individually varnished, the pendant, the beads, everything. Now that the varnish is also dried, it's time to assemble. These are the materials that I have laid out. This is a 1.5 mm black nylon cord. Because there are two hooks, I'm going to be using two such cords. Stud posts, wooden beads, E6000, a pair of scissors and plier. I'm also going to be making simple tassels. I have a more detailed video of how I made the tassels. I'll leave the link in the description box so you can check that out as well. So if you see, the assembling is rather straightforward and simple here. Now to make the stringing part a little more easier, so that the beads go in a lot more quicker, you can also just apply a little bit of Fevicol at the tip of the two strings. Make it almost needle-like, let it dry, and then begin putting the beads in. That will make it a lot more easier for you, especially if you are a beginner. I think something like that will, because sometimes the bead stringing can be a little frustrating, because especially if you're using two different cords, or rather two strings, and trying to put it through one bead. So once it's all in, I tie a firm knot so that the beads don't move. That's it. Now I attach the wooden bead. I have to try and put all the 4 cords through the wooden bead. I use my pliers. I take the help of my pliers in order to do that. Obviously, the way the wooden bead has to be is that it shouldn't be too tight and it shouldn't be too loose either. Because if it's too loose, then it's not going to bear the weight of the pendant. And if it's too tight, then it's going to be very inconvenient to adjust the length. So once the last knot is basically done, I make the tassels. Once again, description box, I have the video link. For the studs, I use E6000. I leave this to dry for about 3 full days and only then use. And that's pretty much it. The entire set is ready. It's beautiful. It's festive, it's nice, it's simple. I really hope you all enjoyed watching the video, everyone. Do let me know what you think of the video in the comment section, and as always, I'll get back to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for watching.